You've probably heard this term before, the Genshin Killer. Every time a new anime open world game pops up, someone somewhere says, "This could kill Genshin. This is the Genshin Killer." But here's the thing, has any of them actually killed Genshin? After all these years, Genshin Impact's still alive, kicking, and probably making more money than most of its competitors. So today, let's talk about this whole idea. What is a Genshin Killer? Is there any game that successfully killed Genshin? And why, at this point, it might be just a myth? Let's start simple. What even is a Genshin Killer? It's a nickname fans throw around for any new anime-style open-world game that looks like it could dethrone Genshin Impact. But why Genshin? Genshin may not be the first game that combining anime art style, RPG element, and gacha system tied to microtransaction, but it was the first one to really blow up and reach mainstream success. Genshin didn't just start a trend, it defined a genre, the anime gacha open world. So naturally, every new anime RPG that comes out gets compared to it. If it has elemental power, open world with big maps, a ton of character with different roles, and a story full of lore, instantly labeled Genshin Killer. For years, people have been waiting for something that could do the same thing, but better. And that's why the so-called Genshin Killers comes in. Games that try to capture that same audience, but with their own theme. Now, over the years, many games have been called Genshin Killer, but only two truly got close enough to make an impact. Let's start with Tower of Fantasy. When it first got announced, people went crazy. It's a MMO instead of just a co-op, customizable character, an interesting theme. Basically just like Genshin, but added a little tweaks to the game. When it launched though, it was rough. Performance issue, server issue, queue time, login issue, bugs, lags, you name it. But underneath all that, there was something special. The world design, the combat system, and especially the MMO aspect that gave it its own identity. So, instead of being an anime-style game that happens to play like an MMO, it's more like an MMO that just happened to use an anime art style. The focus isn't the anime aesthetic, it's the MMO structure underneath. It wasn't big enough to be a Genshin Killer, but it also wasn't there to beat Genshin. Ultimately, it did become its own game with a dedicated fanbase. Then came Wuthering Wave. This one hit differently. People hype it as the serious, darker, better Genshin. The movement was fluid, combat was fast and interesting, and the graphic? Chef kiss. It brings a bit of fresh air into the anime gacha scene. Compared to Genshin, the gameplay might look similar on the surface, but there are plenty of small differences, like the artifact system, team combos, character synergy through intro and outro attack, and a bunch of other tweaks that make it feel different in its own way. People may like it more than Genshin, but again, it had its share of problems. And more importantly, it doesn't kill Genshin. Sure, it makes Genshin player count dip a bit for a while, but not enough to take the throne. Still, Wuthering Wave feels like an actual step forward for the genre. It wasn't trying to copy Genshin, it was trying to evolve from it. Both games weren't successful in taking down Genshin from its throne as the biggest anime gacha games. They had solid foundation, great visual, ambitious system, and strong marketing, but they didn't quite connect with a wider audience. Tower of Fantasy leaned more into MMO mechanics that not everyone enjoyed, while Wuthering Waves focused heavily on complex combat that can be intimidating for casual player. In the end, they appealed to a specific crowd instead of the broader audience that made Genshin explode in popularity. Both failed at reaching a bigger audience, and that's why it's so hard to really kill Genshin, because the only thing that can take down something that big is something even bigger. So why did this game get that label? Simple. Timing and similarity. Both released when Genshin was dominating everything, and both looked like they could finally offer players something different while still giving that familiar anime adventure atmosphere. Fans or media easily throw labels like Genshin Killer to games that look similar. Media outlets love the killer narrative. It's catchy, dramatic, and makes people click. Fans love it too, because they want competition, possibly something new. It's that classic David versus Goliath story. They want someone to challenge the giant and possibly take it down. But here's the truth. Both Tower of Fantasy and Wuthering Wave ended up coexisting with Genshin rather than replacing it. People who like MMO played TOF. People who want heavier story and graphic went for WoA. And some players just play both or all three. The Genshin Killer label sound exciting, but in reality, none of them were even trying to kill it. They were just carving out their own space. Now here's something people don't talk about enough. Did any of this game actually affect Genshin? And the answer is yes, but not in a negative way. If anything, it helped Genshin. Competition is healthy. When WoA was near its launch date, you could see MiHoYo responding with even bigger content and QOL updates. Better model, better event, and interface improvement coming better and better, all to make sure they didn't fall behind the competition. Even beyond that, you can notice a trend where mechanics and QOL feature sometimes borrow inspiration from one another. Player experience benefit from this. Bigger updates, better gameplay, and creative new system. It's a reminder that thriving ecosystem of gacha games doesn't just challenge Genshin, it elevates the genre for everyone. So why are Tower of Fantasy and Wuthering Waves are the only two games seriously considered Genshin Killer? Because they were the only ones really standing toe-to-toe with it, at least visually, and the sheer confidence they had to go up against Genshin. We've had plenty of anime gacha games since Genshin launched. Reverse 1999, Blue Archive, Nikke, Punishing Grey Raven, and so on. But most of them either went for a different gameplay or wasn't trying to beat Genshin. To be called a killer, you need to compete directly. Same audience, same style, same scale. And so far, only TOF and WoA really did that. Now, the next question. Will there ever be another Genshin Killer? Honestly, probably not. That era is kinda over. Genshin isn't the shiny new game anymore. It's the standard. So any new anime RPG isn't trying to kill Genshin, it's trying to learn from it. If a game ever truly surpassed Genshin, it won't be because it copied it better. It'll be because it did something new. New ideas, new system, new generation of player. Genshin itself is starting to feel a bit outdated. The world design, the combat limitation, the style event, but it's still solid because it has momentum. It's built a massive ecosystem, and no one's taking that down easily. So no, there probably won't be a Genshin Killer. There'll just be what come next. So yeah, the idea of a Genshin Killer sounds cool, but in reality, it's just a community myth at this point. Tower of Fantasy and Wuthering Wave tried, and both actually contribute a lot to the genre. But Genshin's still here, stronger than ever. Instead of waiting for a killer, we should be looking forward to the evolution of the anime open world RPG. Because one day, something new will rise, not to replace Genshin, but to continue what it started. Anyway, what do you guys think? Is the Genshin Killer just a meme now, or do you think someone somewhere out there can still take that crowd? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you enjoy this kind of discussion, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.